So at last the sun's come out, so I thought I'd do a quick tour of the kitchen garden. The allotment's okay as well, although not much is growing at the moment, obviously, because it's either been snow or ice snow, so ice rain, or just rain. So almost no sunshine this week, so no growth. But we're not doing too bad. Let's take a look round. So although this bed gets hardly any sun at this time of year, there's still a reasonable amount of growth that was achieved up to December, and the plants are holding pretty well. So we've got some really nice kale here, and I'm really pleased to say that this lamb's lettuce has done really well. And we don't have a lot of salad right now on the allotment. We've got a lot of plants, but they're not growing because there's not enough light. So it's really nice to have this, and as you can see, we've been harvesting it quite a lot, and basically, we'll eat all this by the middle of February, I should think. And I've just cleared the last of the beetroot, and I'm really pleased to be able to start clearing some ground because I've got a lot of stuff to start planting. So first bed cleared. I won't actually be planting until February, but it's really nice to get some space. Spring cabbages, they're doing okay. And some more kales, they're looking quite nice. I've got quite a lot of this red Russian kale scattered around. And at this time of year, it looks really awful and not at all appetising. And you kind of think, well, why did I bother to grow this over winter? But come spring, particularly kind of late spring, April, well, I suppose it's mid-spring, April and early May, it really gives you a fantastic flush of growth just before it goes to seed. And so it's really valuable just from that perspective, because everything is in quite short supply in the middle of April. And then these are spring onions, I think they're white Lisbon or something like that, and they're all interplanted with garlic, and hopefully you can just see the garlic starting to come through here. Every time I do a tour, there's more garlic come through, which is fantastic because we only have 2 or 3 beds of this size full of garlic this year. We usually grow a lot more garlic than this, but we don't have Jennie's plot now, and that was the garlic plot. So now all the garlic is kind of interplanted into things, on the assumption that this spring onion bed, for example, will be harvested in sort of April time. And of course, the garlic's not really growing that strongly even in early April, so this will be cleared before the garlic competes. And this was my early summer kale bed, basically. So that's all being pretty much cleared now, just apart from these little bits left over here, which will probably be harvested like today or tomorrow or something. But this is the perennial kale, and it's doing really nicely, and I've got a lot of regrowth on the stems as well, which I'm really pleased about. So this is lush now, but it's going to be even better come sort of April, May. Again, that's exactly the time we're going to need it. So it's just about managing these plants now so that they're in optimum condition, which means removing all these big old leaves and just keeping it nice and tidy. And of course we are harvesting it as well, but just not over harvesting it, because right now we've got loads of kale, so we really want this bed to be at maximum productivity in April, May and June. And I have got a few broad beans coming through here. Never tried broad beans in here, but I thought, well, I'll just try and then plant kale back in here in midsummer, so we get the plants really nice and healthy in autumn. So nothing really to report in the fruit garden. Everything's pretty much as it was on the last video, apart from I just started taking some of my cuttings, gooseberry cuttings, and potting those up. and I'm quite pleased. I think I'll do another 2 because we've got less gooseberries now on the allotment. So other than these gooseberries, we've got strawberries down here, raspberries down the back wall, blueberries in the big pots, flowers in the small pots, cherry trees, more blueberries. Got my little mini greenhouse that's just got some spare broad beans in it at the moment. And let's just take a look down here. I'm trying to keep off the grass at the moment. It's a bit squelchy. It's not too bad. So there we've got some more red Russian, some more, this is dazzling blue, this one, with the purple ribs, some more curly kales and bits and pieces, and we've got some colettes as well. So these don't get very much sun here, and there's 2 different varieties. So this one is a late one, and you can see that the colettes on here are quite small still. So they'll probably be ready around March time. Again, kind of perfect timing. And these are still quite small as well, which is great because, again, these will be ready probably late February, early March time. And that's just when we're running out of colettes on the allotment, so that's great. Got some transplanted leeks there. And I've got some spinach under here, and again it's just hanging on, it's just living, but it's not thriving. And again, this is a nice comparison to look at this and then compare it to what's happening on the allotment spinach beds. Quite a substantial difference in the performance there, and you know, this video looks almost exactly like the video I did last month, but anyway, never mind, that's what it's always like in winter. Got some carrots here. I'm actually going to harvest some of these carrots. They're just an experiment to see what the carrot fly's like in the back garden at the moment, because I would like to grow more carrots here. I'll show you where I was thinking of growing them in a minute. So we've got some salad rocket there. This is miner's lettuce. I've just started harvesting that, basically just chopping it off. And there's lots of new growth down here, but these plants have actually got a bit of damage on them. Can you see? Which is not good at this time of year. These are normally thriving in this sort of weather, but it's been extremely frosty for our climate here, unusually so. And yeah, so a few things have suffered. I've got to tidy that grapevine up. And yeah, we've got some nice spring cabbages here. These are probably going to be left to heart up, whereas we do like to harvest spring cabbage just for the leaves, loose leaf like that, taking individual leaves off, so that we get a nice continuous harvest, because otherwise we've got just like masses and masses of cabbage hearts, because we haven't just got these here and those over there. We've also got about the same again on the allotment, which is way too many if you're just waiting for them to heart up. And yeah, garlic. This is an experiment for me again, is garlic in these tubs, which are the tomato tubs, the outdoor tomato tubs. Now these only get planted in June, so this garlic has got from now until June, so we'll see how well it does. Now if I need to, I could put my tomatoes in sort of 2 weeks later, so the middle of June, and I suspect that this garlic will be ready for harvest by then, because this is a very sheltered, warm spot. So I think it's going to be really good for garlic, and that's a fair amount of garlic actually in those containers. And we've got some turnips in here going quite nicely, and then a cat that wants to desperately go inside, and then more garlic. So these are potato tubs, and so I will actually need these in April, which means all this garlic will need to be harvested for green garlic, but that's great because we love green garlic. So that is pretty much it for the back garden. So I harvested those carrots, and like I say, I'm really pleased with them. They look really great, and that was just from one of those little flower tubs. And this is why I'm thinking of growing carrots in these 30-litre containers. And I'm looking, I said that's where I normally do my outdoor tomatoes. I'm still going to do my outdoor tomatoes there, but I'm looking to raise up and build a little platform here, so I can grow some basically at the same level as the top of the wall, and then maybe one more row down there, and then the tomatoes underneath. And then this is my little grow bench where I have all my seedling trays and everything during the summer. So I think it's going to make that corner look really nice. I like to have every square inch growing if I can. And then we'll just take a quick look at my growing area in the conservatory. It's got some nice little potatoes coming on there. I just potted those on. So these are my earliest potatoes. Super early potatoes, more super early potatoes there. Lots of sprouts, which we grow for the leaves. They're an amazing leaf crop sprouts. And yeah, were probably my favourite of all the brassica greens. About a quarter of my peppers just starting there. Some nice little cauliflowers coming on, some more sprout leaves. All my calabrese and stuff is now all planted. So that's it for my little kitchen garden tour. We're harvesting a reasonable amount actually still from the little kitchen garden, and we really love it, and we really love the way it looks. You know, it's still looking really nice even over winter, but the vast majority of stuff obviously that we're harvesting is coming from the allotment, because the allotment's undercover. A lot of it's undercover anyway at this time of year, and that just makes all the difference in terms of harvest rates. So we've got, you know, masses of spinach and lettuces and turnips and brassicas of all sorts of descriptions, and so much more going in the next month. Anyway, my name's Steve, this is the Seaside Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.